This tutorial is going to go over how to make a generation pop-up from a blank sheet of paper using a generation pop-up extension sheet, scissors, a ruler, and a pencil or a pen. The first step in making the generation pop-up from a blank sheet of paper is to fill out the generation pop-up extension sheet. It's a little bit difficult to read on this video, but there are two different tables right here. The most important table to fill out is this first table, where you're actually measuring and creating line segments of different lengths. So I would encourage people to actually have a sheet of paper and a ruler and work through this just to make sure that what you're writing down is actually feasible. So for line segment AB, I'm going to make this a 6-inch line. Line segment CD, I'm going to make this 3 inches. And then for line segment EF, I'm going to make it 2 inches. One important thing to note as you're filling out this table, whatever line segment, and probably it's going to be line segment AB, you draw first, which I'll show in the next step, it needs to be longer than the next line segments. So it should kind of cascade down. You wouldn't want 8 inches to be right here or 6 inches right there. The other parameter that you're going to have to deal with as you're filling these out is the length or the width of the sheet of paper. The next step is to fold the sheet of paper. This is a blank sheet of paper in half. So I'm going to fold it in half like so. I'm going to make a hard crease by running my finger down the back of the paper, like so. Before I begin drawing, one thing that I do want to make sure is that the side that has the fold is at the bottom of where you're working. So it should be down here and not like this. The next step is to make your horizontal line right here. Based on my extension sheet, line segment AB, which is the first one I'm going to draw, is a length of 6 inches. So I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to kind of guesstimate where I want my outer edges to be. But I'm going to draw a line that's 6 inches. I'm using a pen here. Most likely you'll want to use a pencil. And then once I've done my 6-inch line, I'm going to draw 2 little lines down the side here. I'm really not worried about the length of this. This line right here, which is A and B, is what I'm really concerned with. I'm going to draw one more line down the side of this page right here. If it's off-centered, if it's skewed to the side, that's okay. I have a smaller margin right here than right here, but for the purposes of why we're doing this, which is looking at ratios and lengths of line, that's okay. So now you'll want to continue making your various lines. The next line segment that I'm going to draw is 3 inches. So I'm going to kind of position my ruler right here above line segment AB. I'm going to kind of guesstimate and say that this is where I want it. So I'm going to draw it at 3 inches. And then I'm going to make what I call the cut lines. I'm going to draw a line here, draw a line right here. Once again, like the previous step, how far up in terms of from line segment AB to line segment CD you make it is entirely up to you. It's okay if it's a little off-centered. The final drawing step in making your own generation pop-up is to add your final line segment. So my final line segment is about 2 inches, or it is 2 inches based on my extension sheet. So I'm going to draw a 2-inch line right here. And I'm going to do my vertical lines like so and like so. I'm going to label my final line segment, which is line segment E and F. And I've got my basic outline for the generation pop-up that I'm going to create. So with my design already drawn on the sheet of paper, what I'm going to now do is begin cutting along these vertical lines right here. I've already cut this line and it looks pretty good, so now I'm going to cut this line over here, kind of like so. And so once I have my lines cut right here, I can then begin folding. So I'm going to fold up once, creasing along line segment AB. I'm going to turn the paper over and fold again, creasing along line segment AB. And then I'm going to open my paper and push this inside flap right here that I just made in, and really fold down around the sheet of paper so that it looks kind of like that. If I was to open it up, you can see I have my first step in my generation pop-up. I'm going to close it, flip it around like so. So now what we're going to do is we're going to flatten out our design, and I'm going to repeat the step. I'm going to cut along this line and cut along this line and then fold. So I've got my scissors right here. I'm going to cut. Then I'm going to cut again. And now I'm going to fold both flaps, and now there are two forward. Make a hard crease with my thumb. I'm going to turn it over and fold it and make a hard crease. Then, just like the previous step, I'm going to open my sheet of paper up, kind of flip it over on the back side, and then begin to fold these two flaps that I just made up and in. So it kind of looks like this. The final construction step is to cut along these vertical lines right here and fold the resulting flaps in like we've done in previous steps. So I'm going to cut along right here. I'm going to cut along right here. And then I'm going to fold all four, there's four now, four flaps up. I'm going to turn it over, fold the other way. Now I'm going to open up my template, and I'm going to fold all four of these little flaps that you see right here. I'm going to fold them in. This can be a little bit tricky. I'm going to fold this one up and in. I'm going to fold this flap up and in, and then I'm going to fold this flap up and in. And I'm going to squeeze it, kind of flatten it out, and then I'm going to open the design up, and you can see I've got my generation pop-up that has a number of different steps based on the design that I created. So this is going to be 2 inches. In my design, this is 3 inches, and this is 6 inches. Obviously, if you look, that would also be 2 inches, that one, this would also be 3 inches, corresponding with this. One final thing you can do, and this is entirely optional, is to flatten the sheet of paper and label your line segment. So this for me is line segment AB right here. For me, this is line segment CD and line segment EF. You could go on and label each one of these different line segments, give them a name, but that's entirely optional. So I've got my generation pop-up.